going to read the books, they're going to figure out what...
Their mothers call them perpetual students.
Yeah, they would. And it might be in a formal way, like you're always going to another like graduate program, or it might be an informal way, like you're just going to find things out because you want to learn, you want to read a whole bunch of books on a topic. You know, the subject could be formal or informal, but you're always going to be like learning and wanting to seek like new skills. Oh yes, here, we can do this. Okay, there you go. Now go sit over here. Go sit here. There you go. Take it over there. Okay, so. And so sometimes people get antsy when they're not learning something new. If they don't have like a new topic, but they're like, this is my new thing that I'm really interested in boats, and I'm learning about that right now. And it can vary though. They might move from one subject to another and just be very inquisitive because they like to learn. And sometimes learners also really like teaching. That kind of sometimes goes hand in hand, that they find themselves liking to teach. But learners want to find roles where you need that constant like renewal kinds of things. Okay, this person, who I clearly told you is not Laura. Actually, it's
Laura
not
clearly
one.
told us it wasn't her.
It has positivity, which we've had a couple of people with positivity, right? So that they're like the sunshine side of life about everything. Which is Tara. Did you see what she?
That couldn't be me. Who's
What?
that, Laura?
The positivity, the harmony, the positivity is really nice. Is that what you're saying? And then the last thing this person has is intellection. And intellection. Print this out. So people with intellection are characterized by being intellectual. They are often introspective. They like intellectual discussions about whatever. Which is interesting. This person probably would like a debate where it felt like, you know, but they would have a long, in-depth conversation about something that they probably researched while they were learning something, and they wanted to have a long discussion about the ins and outs of something that they happen to know. They wouldn't want to do it in a confrontational kind of way, right? It would be more of a teaching kind of way. So, intellection, hang on. They like to think. They like mental activity, using their brain.
It's because we're actually...
Sometimes people often think they're more introverted, but they're not necessarily. And so these sorts of people, we should ask them to think about a lot of stuff. And this person, we should probably ask them to read a lot of articles and research things and gather all, and really become an expert on a topic area, because they would like that, right? That learning and the thinking energizes this person. I'm going to think through a process, and they could then also tell us like very detailed explanations. So who is it?
Melissa.
Melissa or Tara?
Tara.
We're getting down to like who
I know.
cover people. It does make it
You'd
easier.
think it'd be easy, but...
Does the person know who it is?
Come on, you should know who, if it's you or not.
Does it speak to anyone? Is it you? Is it you?
I know I have one of those words at least.
It's Tara.
That was my vote.
So did it resonate with you? Any
Some of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
In what way?
I like learning new things. I always have a new hobby or something new. Like I'm notorious for, I have like 1,000 different hobbies and projects going on around the house. I love like puzzles and reading. I love reading. It's probably my favorite thing to do. I definitely don't like conflicts. I would agree with that. I wouldn't say I like research a lot.
It doesn't have to be research. It's more about learning. So it could be. It doesn't necessarily manifest as research. It could be, right? You want to just learn about new things.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean like.
And the harmony. You seem like
I like that.
you have that kind of
And
air.
the
Doesn't
positivity.
it?
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
that's very easy.
I know. Does
Harmony?
That's what for me of like
Yeah.
combination and when she said positivity, I was like.
But in her strongest things, though, frankly, being really strong in the harmony and restorative, she would be good at helping with conflict management. But in particular, if she's not part of the conflict, right? If she's she would not be part of conflict in general. Like, you probably don't fight a lot with your husband.
We never fight ever.
Yeah. Right? Because that would be horrible. But she would help others figure out how to like solve a problem with their boyfriend. Or committees that are having problems and how to get balance back and how to have peace and consensus. And so if we need that skill, Tara would be really good at it.
So if Jennifer and I start fighting, which you do
All
gonna
the
come and you're
time.
gonna come in and say, okay, break it up.
Do you find yourself in that kind of role sometimes? Playing like the consensus builder? But she's also in a group, she's going to try to seek to avoid, for the group to avoid conflict from the start, right? She's going to try to find how the group, most likely, right? How the group can like work well together so that they won't fight. Because she doesn't want them to fight. She wants them to find common ground and all get together and sing kumbaya. And maybe have a group hug at the end. That makes Sarah happy, right? And if she's good at helping people to do that.
That's
It's pretty
I
important.
could see you doing that.
That's good to have.
That's
a
why you're
team.
so good on new member.
But that's good to have a person like that.
Yep. Who do we have left? Okay.
Laura.
No, we have Laura,
Melissa,
Melissa, Sherry,
Michelle.
and Michelle.
Okay, our next contestant's number one thing is input. We had this before, right? This is also Janet.
What is it?
So the collector of whatever it might be, knowledge, things, these are collectors. These are collector kinds of people. The next thing they have is learner. So again,
Could be Laura.
it could be, but you know, we have
is
it
that
here,
there?
so not, I don't know. So again, they have this learning thing. Again, it could be all sorts of different things. You might manifest in different ways that you like to learn or what you like to learn about or the kind of context, but it's this, you always need to be learning new things and in new ways. This is the only person I think with this one. This is called command. A command. People in command themes have presence. You can take control of a situation and make decisions. Tell you a little bit.
Could be you too. She's leading us.
Michelle.
Command people take charge. You have no discomfort imposing your views on others. Once your opinion is formed, you want to share it with others. Your goal is set. You feel restless until you've aligned others with you. So you will sway others to come out to your side. You're not frightened by confrontation. You know that confrontation is the first step towards resolution. You must right? Other people may feel, this is just a good one to read. Where other people may avoid facing up to life's unpleasantness, you feel compelled to present the facts and the truth no matter how unpleasant they may be. You like it to be clear between people and you want to be challenged to be clear-eyed and honest and take risks. So you might intimidate people.
Here's what I'm hearing. Oh, hell no. That's what I'm hearing.
Sometimes you get labeled opinionated, but at the same time, those people
Why
that
do
call
you
you
keep pointing at
that
Laura?
call you opinionated, I'll point around. The same people that call you opinionated often willingly hand you the reins because you make decisions.
Aha.
People are often drawn to those who take a stance and who ask them to move in a certain direction. So that's this sort of person. This person says, this is what we're going to do. They have no problem saying, here's, they're very candid also. That's sort of that candid piece. But,
That's what we love about
but
it.
again, these are working with people on your team. These are good people to ask about, to evaluate what's happening in your organization because they will not bullshit you. They're going to give you the straight answer and tell you what they think about it. And they're not going to they're not going to be a head nodder. They're not going to just agree and be yes people. Even if they have a very different, the only dissenting piece, they're going to present it and say, this is what I believe and here's why. It says never threaten this person unless you're 100% ready to follow.
In a dark alley.
Yeah, but these people are really take charge. They actually can be great in crisis because they'll take charge of it, or a project too. They'll take charge of a project. They'll make decisions. But again, they sometimes might steamroll through things because they're gonna just do what needs to get done in that moment. And it says people with this should really partner with strong woo or empathy people because these people might have obstacles in relationships, right? Because you're just gonna like, get it done.
I would love to see Tracy's too, to see
I
how
will, we need to,
comparable
we'll
they
maybe
are.
get those people. So that's command. Now that's like in the middle, right? This person was input and learner first, then command, but we just hadn't heard about it. Then responsibility, which you could probably imagine. I don't think we've had any responsibilities yet. People with responsibility have a lot of psychological ownership of what they say and do. So they're very stable with their values, and they value honesty and loyalty. It's that idea of I don't know, how do you talk about responsibility? It's responsibility.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's look up responsibility.
You feel emotionally bound to follow through to completion because your good name depends on it, right? You feel you own things. You feel very, yeah. And this is indicative though. If for some reason you can't deliver, you automatically start to look for ways to make it up to the other people. Apologies aren't enough. Excuses and rationalizations are totally unacceptable to you. You have to like make restitution because you feel a very deep sense of responsibility. But these are people, when you assign them out, people will often look to you first because they know you will get it done. But you should make sure that you be selective, because otherwise people can pile shit on you until there's no end, because you get it done. And you're gonna take on and on and on and on more things because you're responsible. And so you need to volunteer only for things that you're willing to do, because you won't feel okay.
Yeah, but they've already said, I'm only gonna take so much with all of the other.
Right, but these folks need to know to say no, right? Because
Right.
because they do feel such a sense of responsibility, they can become overly burdened because they are so good at following through with that sense of. So it even says, push yourself to say no, because you're so instinctively responsible. It's sometimes difficult to refuse opportunities, but you can take on too much. And so this person defines herself by her ability to live up to their commitments. And it's very frustrating often for people strong in responsibility when others don't. Because lots of other people are not as strong, don't have that, I just pass it off to somebody else. And these people often don't like to be rushed. They want quality. They want to do it right. Okay, so that's responsibility. And then finally, this person is an achiever. I think we had an achiever, right? These are we did actually. These people have this great stamina and work hard. They take great satisfaction from being busy and productive. Achievers are, they have crazy drive. It's also, achievers are those where every day starts at 0 and you probably have a list. And you want to go through and check off all the things on your list. And the next day you have another list and you have to go through and you're doing this and this and this and this and this and this. And it's that you want to maximize every single day. I'm going to check them off. I have this, whatever it might be.
Is this the same person?
This is the same person. This is an interesting person. Achievers push themselves. They're annoyed by slackers. And they're usually very, very busy. They don't like sitting in meetings.
So this is kind of
They don't like a lot of sleep. They're live every day to the fullest. Carpe diem. I have a list. I'm getting it done. I went for a run at 6 a.m. followed by then I ate blueberries. Then I did this. Then I did this. Then I did this. They're going to push themselves, right? That's what achievers often do.
I know.
So who are we guessing?
Are we guessing?
Laura.
Laura.
I think it's Laura.
Does it sound like you?
Yeah.
Which parts of it?
TT.
TT.
Tell us.
The command thing,
Yeah.
the way that usually plays out is that as long as everything is going okay, you will not see me. You will not hear from me. I will sit and smile nicely and observe you. And when things start going bad, then I'll get up. I mean, when I said today I was shocked about all those comments, because if I felt this way, I'd be shocked about it. Yeah, if I thought things were going wrong, I walk up and say, hey, look, there's a problem. And that's why those comments were like, wow, why would you feel this, I mean, my thought was, why would you feel this way? And not bring it up.
I know.
And
But
not
now
make a
you're,
problem.
but now you're fired up to do something about it, cause like I've noticed the way you've engaged it, you're, you know, it's almost like, well, now what? Now
Yeah,
we have to,
yeah, I
now we
mean-
have to address it. It's been outed,
It's
you
been
know?
outed.
Right.
It's been outed.
So what do you collect?
Hey, you and I should get together with our input.
Probably. I collect information,
Information.
a lot of information
Interesting.
on trying to put it into electronic files and get rid of the paper.
Uh-huh.
I have a collection of dolls that I brought from India 16 years ago that are still in boxes, because I don't have any place to display them.
Did you notice we're both from Indiana?
Interesting.
Collectors.
Must be a weird Indiana collector thing.
And Richmond is not that far from us.
About an hour drive.
Yeah,
from
not
me.
even really that.
I collect books.
Uh-huh.
I have,
So you have many collections.
I have
It's not
a variety
surprising.
of collections, yeah. About the only thing I ever resisted collecting was after the second son came out, as big as the first one, somebody asked me, wouldn't I like to have 3 more and field my own basketball team? And I resisted the urge to do that. But
Yeah.
otherwise, yeah, I collect them.
There you go.
Interesting.
See, that was good, we all knew. Do you know, have you ever heard of, do you know, well, she's passed away now, but her name is Lucille Murley. She was a teacher in Richmond. Well, that was my husband's aunt. She lived to be almost 100. She was so close, but she was very well known in Richmond. That's why I wondered if you knew her. Richmond and Muncie are so close. We used to go there all the time. And I have a friend that lives in Winchester,
Well,
so it's like,
Yeah, my
right in the
family is
middle.
up around Winchester too. And,
I didn't even know till I rode with her
our high
today.
schools played football and basketball against each other all the time.
Isn't that something till we were in the
Yeah.
car together?
That's why we have these
Okay.
I know.
leadership retreats.
Are we doing one more?
Yeah, let's do one. Well, we
Okay.
still
Well,
have
that's
some
one,
other,
right?
we still have
I
3
think we
ladies
may have
left.
2 more.
No,
Well, we still have a lot
We have a
of
couple.
work
More
to do.
I know, it's getting late, so.
Then how are
And
we
I know
gonna finish all
Braden-
our ladies?
That's all right, we'll just.
All right, ready? Our next person's strongest thing is responsibility. So this person feels responsible, is probably gonna take on too much stuff, but is gonna get it all done. Her next thing is relator. Do we have any other relators? I don't think we did yet. This is what Jen was actually talking about earlier. That relators are not exactly the opposite of the woo, but
Other real estate?
yeah. The realtors, yeah. These people are much more about deep friendships, like more intimate relationships, like, so the woo, right, is out there like networking. Relators are all about, the deepness of relationships, whatever they are, if it's friendships or intimate relationships or family relationships or whatever. And they often are more selective about their relationships. They're not really like looking to gather like a whole bunch of lots of friends, but it's about depth and nurturing longtime friends. You'll often find.
Oh, that sounds
Like
like
from
you've been
college.
friends forever.
Yeah, but these people also are very caring and will want work environments where it feels like there is a relationship, where it's more personal. They often don't like a super like formal corporate structure because they want these deep relationships where they feel like there's connection and that type of thing. These people, it's important because the friends are sort of their fuel. They're supposed to stay in touch with them, like especially those important friendships. Family, close friends, quality is really important, and they should schedule time for it. And so this person is about bonding and building those relationships. Yeah, they're very loyal, right? So if you're a friend of this person, you will be a friend of this person for life.
If it's Melissa, it might not be.
Okay, wait. This person's next thing is a learner. So again, that lifetime learning, however it might manifest. They are also an achiever. So that was the one where it's like you start your day and you're gonna those are the to-do listers, right? You're gonna have your, I'm doing this and this and this and this, and I wanna cross it off. I got it done, whatever it is. And then their last one is deliberative, which I don't think we've had anyone with, is anyone else deliberative that we've talked about? No, right? These people are careful. They are sometimes very private. And they see, this is very funny actually for this person, they see that there's potentially risk in lots of things, right? And so they like to deliberate about how to navigate shark-infested waters, right? That's kind of how they see.
New car to buy.
It could be, right? That there could be problems with it. But again, these people are, like one of the quotes is, my whole thing is to reduce the number of variables out there and lower the risk. When I'm negotiating and I want to figure out what's the lowest risk option that I have, right? It's that kind of risk management.
I don't know, but Michelle's been telling us, let's reduce this list down.
They do have, these people do have, this is funny, these people are often very adept at legal work, crafting sound business deals, and ensuring compliance to regulations. But they often see things, they don't like risk, they often will see minefields though, which is where it's important. They might see risks in a situation that others of us might not see, right? They're going to see the shark that's out there, and that's important, especially if you're looking at wherever we may be going. This person's going to be able to see that and say, what are we going to do about this? We need to figure out a solution to this. And others of us, wouldn't have even thought of that possible, issue. But it's really critical that we do. These people want to partner with strong commands, self-assurance, or activators, because otherwise they get so caught up in the risk that they get paralyzed with but there's 80,000 sharks, where do we go? And somebody like Laura with commands is going to say, jump in, damn it, right? And jump in and start swimming, you know what I'm saying? So it's a good balance to have the two. And Laura would say, jump in, and now I see the sharks over there, swim the opposite way. Okay, so who's that?
Could be Michelle too.
Could be Michelle.
She's always quiet.
She is quiet.
And she's always trying
So
to
responsible, deep relationships, a learner, taskmaster, achiever, and very deliberative, especially about risk management. Does it feel like it fits?
Totally.
In what way? And what seems to resonate? What resonates most?
Every day, I actually have a built-in checklist with photocopy. Right in.
Photocopy?
It's like
She made one,
And
and
then
then she just
copied
photocopied
it,
it.
and then I can fill it in. And
Oh
have
my
a
God.
little
Oh my God.
Wow.
And see, I make lists and I check them off, but I don't photocopy.
She's like giggling like a child.
But that makes you feel really happy, right? If you didn't have that list, you'd feel really unhappy.
Yeah, my shopping list was a checklist. I had little boxes.
Yeah, and she
Yeah,
probably
I
loved
do that.
Okay, did you see the shopping list?
Yes, it was very checklisty.
Okay.
Responsibility, this is our most responsible person in the room.
Well,
Hey, I don't know about that.
No, I'm saying that's her number one thing, right?
No,
She
I'm
just
guessing.
inherently is going to be.
And then like the learner thing,
Mhm.
I'll be like, I'll hear something, I'm like, oh, I need to go Google that. I will spend hours, let me go. Yeah, just like, cause someone says something, I'm always
Curious.
let me read about that, right then.
And then even when you said something about law, there she is.
Yeah, no, I was like, oh,
It's
that's
like
funny.
right there in her.
It's about risk
profession.
management, right? It's about risk and all that, which is really funny. But
risk
people with
mitigation.
responsibility have to worry about not being too responsible for everything. You don't have to be responsible for everything. 'Cause that's your natural tendency is to and those of us less responsible could just be like, great, do it.
That's it. Well, we only have two more, so we
I
have
know.
to do them.
Okay, our next person is, her strongest one is achiever, that list maker. This person loves to make a list. Check it off, get it done. Oh my gosh, they hire lists to make lists.
either,
I know, could be.
can you
because I think
photocopy
they're
your
very
list
similar.
for them too?
But it's the sense of achievement, right? They want to see that they got it done. So sometimes, almost always they're list makers, but it's just that like, I want to like achieve things and see it tangible. This person also has significance. That's one that I had about needing to be seen as wanting to always be very competent and skilled at what you're doing. Individualization, which we've had before too, so that's where you can see people's unique skills and abilities and what makes you stand out from another type of person. The relator, so deep relationships, personal, professional, whatever it might be. And futuristic, so this person shares something with everyone else. We've had all these things in the room. So very forward thinking, is going to be inherently looking at what's next. But this person probably is going to be thinking about what's next. She might be making it in a list format of like, because of that really strong achiever piece. So this person probably is very goal oriented, of like, I'm going to look to the future and then figure out like how I'm going to get there.
So wait, tell me all of them.
Okay, achiever, significance, individualization, relator, and futuristic.
Do the next one.
Oh, you want to compare?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I know they're big.
It's more interesting
They're very
than
simple.
interesting.
Oh, then we can guess.
Okay,
between
this,
two.
the other person's number one thing is,
Well, then you looked right at Michelle.
or I looked at Sherry, which
Oh,
one is
okay.
it?
She
I'm
looked at the
sitting here.
general
Oh.
I'm looking at
direction.
my child who's like 2 hours past bedtime.
Okay.
Okay, this other person then is individualization. So seeing, again, they both have it, right?
Yeah,
So this
yeah.
could be confusing, but this is this person's first thing versus more lower down.
Mm.
So seeing the uniqueness in people, I'm going back to individualization.
Being able to place them really well too.
Yeah, being able to place people. You always hear the one-of-a-kind stories in people's lives.
That was
These
like
are the
a
people.
penny
These
had.
are the people that pick really awesome birthday gifts, right? Because they see
Somebody's
people.
here.
Oh,
Braden.
it's Braden. I suppose it's also art, but you know, it's mostly Braden.
Wow.
But yeah, these people are really great at drawing out the best in people, right? Or you know, just knowing how people tick. Okay, this person's second thing is arranger. So, was I the arranger? Me, I'm the arranger. So that was like when you need to rearrange travel plans, or you have
Okay,
to
so it's
throw
Michelle.
out
Michelle, because I
the
remember
event.
Sherry.
The event gets mixed up, and you need to rearrange everything,
Sherry
and that
said
doesn't stress them out.
Sherry
They're
said
gonna
she
problem
did
solve,
that.
and they're gonna problem solve and move all the parts around and figure it out.
Hello there.
I'm just gonna show them the room and then.
Okay.
Yep.
and that.
This person's actually also analytical, which we have not had any other analyticals. You can kind of guess what that is, but
It's Michelle.
they always, the thing this person's always going to say is prove it. Show me why what you're claiming is true.
Isn't that what you're telling us this time?
Yeah.
Why? Why do you want
Um,
that? Why can't you change that?
You want their theories to be sound, like you want to,
Yeah.
this person is going to read something on the internet and they're going to be like, I don't think that's true. And they're going to be like, going to the website and be like, let's prove it is right. You know, that they want to see that like, prove it. How do patterns affect things? Let's see. These people are often good at analyzing data, finding patterns. It's a very analytical kind of brain that they have. Yeah, they're often skeptical until they see proof.
He's like a different person. It's like, and then.
He's gotta be so tired, I don't know. Okay, this person is also a maximizer, which so was Janice. So about wanting everything to be polished and perfect and trying to take a situation and make it like the best it can be. And this person has responsibility. So similar to Melissa that we just talked about, when they're very responsible.
So tell us the,
Round all again?
So
Yeah.
it's.
Individualization, that unique people thing. Arranger, being able to move, flexible, arrange things on a dime. analytical, maximizer, and responsibility.
Now, is that the
Okay,
second?
so that's
That's the second
Michelle,
one.
second one is Michelle,
And the first one was an achiever, the list maker and in their head, significance, individualization, relator, and futuristic.
So maybe I would say Sherry.
That's what I would say. But it could go either way.
But yeah, because I think the two of you,
Interchangeable.
but I still, no, you're not, I still would, would have thought more like statistical or something, because I think you're both very, I don't
It's
know.
not the top of either. So Sherry's the achiever, significance, individualization, relator.
The first one, right?
Yeah, the first one,
Yeah,
right.
Okay.
And Michelle
Michelle's
is the
the second.
individualization.
Well, that's what I
herself,
thought.
and a rating.
Yeah.
The realtor one is the one that, relator is the one that I was like, okay, that's because freshman in high school, I realized I was like, I'm only having friends that I want to do.
Yeah, relator folks will be like, I only want 3 friends. Like, I don't need more friends, I have plenty friends. I have no, right? It's the opposite of Jen, who's like, let me go out, collect more business.
But you know what, I was
Yeah,
gonna
right?
friends like
You
that
don't,
too.
you don't
I mean,
care.
like
Yeah.
that.
You want to nurture
Yeah.
deep
Yeah,
relationships.
and that's because probably people are always really strange. They think it's strange that I have all my ex-boyfriends are all my friends.
Not strange
And
at
it's
all
like,
for you.
you know what? If I would have, you must be a really good person for me to even date you, so I can keep you as a friend.
No, like,
Yeah.
that's how I am too, and actually now, our secret friends with one of my
Right.
ex,
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's super strong for you. It's like the number 2 thing.
But
So
see,
I'm
I,
surprised you're even talking to us, because like relators are often friends with like the same people from kindergarten, right? They're
but you
like,
know what, I'm like that with, because that's how it is with my friends. I have lots of, I want everybody included, and then I have friends that are, they want just, if we're gonna have lunch, just the 2 of us. Or just this small little group, they don't wanna incorporate anybody else, and I'm like, why, the more the merrier.
For other people, it's not the more the merrier, right? That's like,
but I like both. We've had our big get-togethers, but I like more intimate stuff too.
but you probably gravitate towards the
If
depth.
it's me setting something up, it'll be like 1 or 2 people.
And how about you, Michelle? What resonated for you? Does it seem accurate?
It was interesting, the primary was individualization, because I'm like, just that word by itself doesn't resonate with me because of the type of work that I do. So, but when I read the description, it actually made sense. It really was about leveraging the unique strengths of every person to make sure that we're getting to some type of cohesive
Yeah.
outcome. And when I think about that in the context of where I'm at, like 12 to 16 hours a day, like that totally makes sense. It's taking a bunch of people who don't necessarily like each other or want to be together, but work together and trying to get them to march to a specific goal or outcome. And so that to me was,
Michelle should be placed on, not to interrupt, but she should do placement. Okay, so people with this skill should do placement because they often will be really good at looking at knowing who people are and knowing what a good team makeup is going to be. Figuring out, does that seem like,
Yeah, but I think she needs
Or
to.
nominating.
I think, yeah,
right,
well,
or
first
not,
of
but
all,
you know what I mean, that kind of thing, that they're going to say, oh, she'd be really good at that, and she'd be really good at that, and she'd be really good at that.
but she has to
So-
know the members, because to be
Yeah.
put on placement, you have to know the members.
No, you have to know that, but
Right.
she would just inherently,
But maybe we
Know those
tee her
things.
up for that,
Yeah.
what else resonated, as I just like interested?
So when you go to ODI, you should you should make sure that you go on the membership track.
well, I was thinking about that a lot because before I came to Kaiser here, a lot of my work was in government relations. So thinking about dynamics and creating those magic moments, because you only get 10 minutes with a senator that you've never met before, and you're asking him for hundreds of thousands of dollars to commit to something they know nothing about, like that totally resonated with me. I'm like, okay, you have this very limited opportunity to make something happen, and you have to actually know that person well enough to be able to sell them on that, right? So again, it's knowing who your audience is, their strengths and weaknesses.
You're gonna know the right angle,
Right,
right?
what's
You're
the
gonna be
angle?
like, this
of the
person cares
situation?
about this, right? 'Cause
And at the same time, knowing that what may be important to Deb may not be important to Sherry, right? So understanding that if they're in a room together and we need a common outcome, you know, how do you place that so that the collective whole actually gets to a certain place, right? Again, that part, it actually surprised me because that phrase or that word, I was like, individualization, that sounds
Yeah, it's
very.
kind of a weird phrase.
Yeah, I was like, but then I read it and I'm like, okay, I can see that makes sense.
These people are often good at like reading people, even when you don't know people that well. And we have a couple people in it. Sherry, Penny, and Michelle. Like even when you've just met somebody for not that long, you like get them. You got them figured out. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Usually at work, what ends up happening is if somebody does have a conflict with another person, it's usually, I know my conversation is like, okay, this is how they process. So
You have them figured out.
right, so when you approach them to address the issue, you need to approach it this way so that they can hear you and you can hear that, you know. So that's usually it.
Right. It's a really good skill to have, and it's important. And not all the rest of us will know that about people. Like
situations.
Yep.
Yeah, in the same vein, I think about that when I'm working with teams. It's like, we call it spotting. So I'm spotting for you when I know that Jen has a very different agenda.
Right.
And so when I talk to you about, you know, your issues or whatever, I'm thinking through the lens of, okay, again, what is our outcome, our outcomes, and what do we need to get to, and how do you work with her based on what I know about her when we're having a conversation just one-on-one.
And you're gonna pick up on those things more inherently than lots of other people.
I love this. I think this is very good. And then to see how we all interconnect and work together.
So maybe tomorrow morning, I know it's getting very late. They actually, we get.
They'll do like a chart.
I did a chart, and so you can see who has, like I did, you know, our achievers are Melissa, Sherry, and Laura, like who has different things. But, and I'll share this sort of electronically with everybody. But also, they group the different things into 4 different clumps. But we're actually really, it's interesting, our team here is very evenly spread. Sometimes you get, so which is good actually, because you want a balance and sometimes it's very unbalanced. So there's executing, and those are areas, where is executing? Though that's like skills that get people to move into action.
That's the woos.
No, who is influencing?
Oh,
So achievers, arrangers,
Oh, okay.
responsibility, restorative, those are about like getting things done. That's actually where we have the least things, so we might have the most executing.
oh, okay.
So we might have problems executing more than anything. That's like the get her done stuff. No, I mean, we have some, it's not like a really weird imbalance.
Chairs are for.
We actually are very strong in relationship, that's the strongest. Those are all the different sort of empathy and harmony and positivity and relator things, which is not shocking often, and the individualization, often women tend stronger towards relationships, but those are people that have gifts for figuring out how people, you know, kind of how you work together in the process. The third area is influencing, these are kind of the sales people, or the sales pieces.
Is that the woo?
Yeah, the woo is in there. So that's activator and command and woo and communications. And then the final one is strategic thinking. So it's like analytical, futuristic, strategic. So it's sort of on that thinking piece. And you want things to be, they sort of just clump them in sort of things that are similar. You want a good spread, and ours is actually fairly equal. I'm
Is
shocked.
there any glaring sort of pukas?
Yeah, we have some of the strengths, which we have no one, which is interesting. There's some, the most we have
Which,
is 3. We have a number of them where 3 people have.
what are the glaring pukas?
You know what, because it's in those like quadrants, there's nothing that is,
We have similar type strengths covered.
yeah, this is like a pretty balanced team. We have no one with empathy.
But you know what?
Because we all do
We're the liaisons.
No, I'm kidding,
right?
it's fine, it's all,
So the action is coming from our chairs. So too bad our chairs didn't do this.
well, we can make them do one another.
Yeah, we still
rest of us, the committee chairs, who actually can fill in who does, so.
And Nina Dowsett said she emailed you hers? No? Okay,
Maybe.
Possible.
okay.
It could have been lost in my shuffle of things this week. Clearly, I am not one of those with a strong responsibility. I just want you to step all that
Next
together.
time, we should all send it to Melissa.
I slept fine being irresponsible, and then I got people like. Melissa would have stayed up all night to get it done, right? That's just.
No,
She would have. No, that's just.
Okay,
I
so,
wake up in the middle of the night thinking about,
Things you're responsible for.
yeah, it's not good.
I woke up at 4 today because I was worried about today.
No. But that's where it's important for us not to pile too much on Melissa, because she inherently will say yes. And it's important for her to try to self-manage and say no, right? To only take on things she can. Well, because otherwise she'll be up all
Yeah,
night.
next
because
year.
She's so
Next year.
responsible. It's like a self, care kind of thing.
But don't you think part of women, we do that anyway? Because I do that too. Like if you're packing to go somewhere, or if you're planning to do something, you always, it's like the whole night, the night before, because you got all this list and you think, oh, I gotta get this done. I think women do that.
It's a different thing though for Melissa, right? It's about the weight of the world is, she's responsible for it. If she's taking it on, right? The problem, whatever she's.
World.
It's,
But
like
it happens at work, and luckily there's one guy that's like, this is way too much. You need like 3 people to help you with this. You can't do it all yourself. So it's been eye-opening, like having someone tell me that.
externally managed for you.
Yeah.
I've been like, okay, yeah, you were right.
Because do you take it home and you worry about it all the time?
I wake up in the middle of the night, like thinking about.
Or she stays up all night getting it done.
Stuff, you know.
No, it's a pretty well-balanced, team.
Very cool. Thank you, Deb.
Yeah, thank you for doing that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, we're at 9:46 on a Saturday night.
We're all like raging party.
We're all fading quickly.
I know.
And, we
Except for
have,
the children.
yeah, we have a few more things to do. One of the last things that we needed to do was figure out, what are our goal statements? And we have a good start here. But the reason why this is so important is because, again, the committee chairs come and join us tomorrow. And we want them to help us figure out how are we going to execute this in a way that's measurable, right? That we can demonstrate over a period of a year. So it's really important that we finish this piece. And there's only 4 bullets, so I'm pretty sure we can power through this in the next at least 15 minutes. And then, as Jen was saying, we want to close with, let's just review with the board what the agenda is for tomorrow, so we're all on the same page and kind of how the flow is going to go, and then we're done for the evening. So where we left off with was we had 4 goal statements that we want to introduce to the committee chairs tomorrow in terms of kind of, here's the vision that the board is thinking in terms of direction, and we want them to figure out the SMART goals with us, right? So as the board, we'll be doing that together. But what's the language? And where we left off before we took a break was, we want this language to be inspiring, right? I know that's hard at 9:48 now on Saturday night after a really long day, but how can we use these phrases to help inspire our folks to do what it is that we think is really key? We've talked a lot about our strengths and weaknesses, but also as the board, you've identified very tactical things that you think are important. Again, these things should come out of your committee chairs, but at the same time, they were important enough to you that you needed to align them with some of these larger goal statements. So let's finish off these 4 goal statements, and then we can talk about agenda, and then everyone can do whatever they want to.
Take a cold shower.
Take a cold shower, have some cookies, whatever. So in terms of our, first goal statement we left it with enhance member satisfaction, increase retention. How do we feel about that right now?
I think that's the one that we really wanna, it's not quite inspiring.
So this actually went through a lot of revisions, right? We
Yeah.
talked about enhancing member satisfaction or exceeding expectations. You know, what is it that we want to focus on? We want to focus on something that's very tailored and specific and unique. How do we want to present this to our committee chairs to inspire them to actually address something very tactical like satisfaction and retention?
The door's closed.
Member satisfaction.
So I think it was Deb that said, JLH more fun than Disney. Let's make it more fun than Disney. That sets a very clear expectation, right? When you think about Disney.
So I think it's that satisfaction. What is gonna make everybody satisfied? I don't know, that word I just don't care for. Because we definitely want them to be happy, we want them to be satisfied, but what else could we say besides satisfaction?
Let's see.
Because
Remember, it's also
what
about-
makes somebody satisfied, right?
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Somebody said earlier Snickers satisfy, so.
Yeah, if I was for person, I mean, that's.
Being heard, having a voice, being heard.
But enhance member experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I even like that experience rather than satisfaction.
What is the experience?
Or do we vote for more fun than Disney?
So wonderful.
But I mean,
But
that's.
let's pause right there.
Okay.
So you're asking for an operational definition of experience, right? But
But
again,
doesn't that come down underneath, on
right?
the bullets, right?
So we're talking about
What do we
governance.
do, right, to make
What's
that
the
experience?
vision? It's the experience.
Okay.
And then in terms of the tactics, it's how do you turn that into the experience?
Okay.
And we'll define that with the SMART well-being objectives.
How do you make it a more fun than Disney experience?
But, and then I don't care for retention either, increase what? And increase retention, I don't like that either. So I like the enhanced member experience and what else could we say to make them want it?
Preservation.
I just, that sounds like you're saving. Minimize stinky monies. What else, instead of increase retention, what could we say as far as we want, because you know what, if you have a good experience, you're not gonna wanna leave, right?
And so you don't need to worry about the retention.
Right.
Naturally it will come.
Just, so you could just say enhanced member experience.
And then
Yeah.
maybe the retention can come down underneath that as part of the bullet points. Because if your experience,
So just call it
is
enhanced
good,
member experience.
yeah, then you're gonna wanna stay, right? Because if you're not having a good experience, you're gonna wanna leave.
So then an example of a SMART goal, just fast forwarding, assuming we're with the committee chair tomorrow, would be increasing retention by X percentage by 12/31/2012, right? A SMART goal being attainable, realistic, time bound, etc.
Yep.
So enhance member experience.
And then choose community impact issue, I hate that. I think it's because it seems like that's something we keep
How
talking about
about
every
impact the
year.
community?
But we haven't done it, that's the problem.
But
I think it's more to like,
Determine area of.
Yeah, but we worked on that last year. Focus community events.
Focus our impact on the community. Focus, move the needle forward.
How about do something important?
Yeah, yes.
No, to do something
It's
important,
not
right?
that. It
I'm
is
serious, that's what we said, we don't do
Moving-
anything important right
moving the
now.
needle forward, and,
Create community change.
Or how about if we just say community involvement, and then what do we do with that community?
Well, we want to make an impact.
Yeah.
Well, what's another word for impact that we can use? Community what?
Improvement.
But I mean, but the thing is that if we,
Effect,
Okay, boys need to do it.
impression,
No, it's,
I mean,
it's making a difference in something. What is it that we're, something important?
Or make a difference in the community. Make a difference in the community.
Maybe significant.
Make a focus,
Okay.
make a focus difference in the
but I feel like we already say that we do that. It's in our mission. It's in. It's
Measurable.
It's more of a.
Bigger difference.
measurable.
I mean,
No?
but I just think it's more of like what type of difference, you know?
But
Like,
then we can decide, what are we gonna do to make a difference?
yeah, but I think we know we want to make a difference because we could just do impact Honolulu projects all year long, and it will be we're making a
Some
difference.
sort of
But see, then it's,
Right.
in little it says choose
Choose.
community impact issue. But just to put that up there again,
We
You know,
should
try to choose
coordinate
another-
activities to move toward a specific goal.
Yeah.
let's say that again.
Coordinate activities to advance a specific goal.
Because every year we keep working on a change and then nothing happens.
Right.
And so if we're gonna put it again, it's like, oh, we did this last
But
year.
that's what I'm
We
saying,
even
can we
worked,
get it
we did,
done?
we voted on this, right? We
But-
researched it, so.
But if
we took out the word community though.
To move towards a specific goal.
We need to start evaluating activities along the
Are we
lines.
gonna
But I feel
community,
like-
or coordinate
What we're
activities
doing.
or community events?
But the evaluation, the choosing the coordinating activities to move to a goal, it's all a
Part of.
part of what we're trying to do is we, as a government, we need to come up with a bigger idea, because if we are gonna sunset programs, if we are gonna develop, if we're going to launch new programs, if this is the year that we're going to sunset programs, we have to know
So
why
are we
we're
gonna have
doing
something to
it.
do with women and children are gonna be, or women and girls are gonna be in that?
It has to be that, I'm just, if we're gonna sunset, we also have to be prepared to say, we're making, PRG move towards developing the and so that means we're gonna sunset some of these programs, because if they develop a new project that's completely not related, but we're showing, that's why choosing a community, or like something about what our issue is, it's showing that we're actually going to make a change, not stay the same. Because activities, we could just stay at empowering women and girls, but everything's in question this year. Everything is in question.
So maybe we need to focus instead though on the sunrise.
Right.
The sunrise, we're going to use sunset.
Right, sunrise, the sunrise.
Sunrise, sunset, I don't like that. No, but right, I mean, also we would, because it was a government relations studio, sunrise residents, and we're bringing
Well,
something.
maybe
to
just
like-
sunrise and sunset activities related to a specific goal, or just say, to what